We're back with the League of the Genuine Conversation. This is a show dedicated 100% to the discussion of the subject of counterfeits. Those who are new here, we do have these episodes every Friday where we host a special guest to discuss the goings-on in the field of counterfeits. We have a special guest today. He told me that he's a stay-alone eligible bachelor, Mr. Fred Mugabi. Bruce,
Yeah.
You're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me here today, and I'm privileged.
Of course, you said you wear two hats. Okay, three.
Yeah.
You are a media personality,
practitioner.
You are a lawyer,
Yeah.
and you are a bachelor. Okay, so let's start with the bachelor
With
bit.
the bachelor bit.
Why would a young man like you still be a bachelor? Because there is a lot of talk right now that there is some strange format of counterfeiting that is eating up the marriage institution in terms of people not wanting to marry. And what are you scared about?
I would really say, I'm really scared. Like you put it, I'm really scared because when you look at the exact topic, like you did bring it out, counterfeit in women.
They are counterfeit women.
Yeah, I would really say they are, because you look at the way now women do package themselves. Let me bring it in a way of packaging themselves. More so, you tell someone, hello, how are you? Can we maybe go out on a date? And, you find the person you did meet without those long eyelashes, having them. You find the person who you did meet and seems to be a little bit slim. With those, counterfeit, buttocks that they do put on. So, maybe that would be one.
But those are enhancers. There's what they call value addition. You guys don't know modernity. That's value addition.
You see, value addition would be better if it comes in reality and, not being fake in one way or the other. So I think that really scares me a lot, because I don't know the person I'm meeting, how natural are they. You've seen videos making rounds on social media, on TikTok to be specific, and looking at these, you find they will bring to you, I will not use the word ugly for purposes of trying to respect people, the women that we do of course live with, but someone looking different, and in just a few minutes with makeup and all that, totally they're another different person. So, that really scares, I would say, not only me, but the young men that are watching us out there.
But some people think that you fear responsibility. You're giving excuses of eyelashes and the nails, but that you are also fake. That these days, men are fake. They don't take responsibility. They are not manning up enough. They are not providing leadership and all those accusations. The women will retort like that.
I would really say they are right at some extent, because there's always a bad apple, and you look at, of course, how all this turns out. One thing I would love to discourage the women about this whole thing is saying men are failing to take up responsibility, because one thing is for sure, we are responsible for ourselves to begin with in most cases. So it isn't an issue of men fearing to take up responsibility in most cases, or even failing to man up and become men in that regard. But aside from some failing to, fearing that they will not find the exact person they need to find, because when it comes to matters, relationships, and being a bachelor, or being seeing someone and all that, it needs you to be very keen as a young man out there, as a young lady out there. So for us men, counterfeit women could be the biggest problem as we speak now, because we don't know if we are meeting the real person. People have learned the tendency of faking personalities, and this is something that is, I would say, is now on a long range as we speak, because you might be meeting me today, and tomorrow you're speaking to a different person, the way I do take myself personally. So yeah.
But even those young people who get actually married, many of the marriages
Yeah, that is it.
do
That
not
is it. That
last
is it.
a very high divorce rate.
And I think when you speak to that, marriages breaking up, divorce rate being high, the young people do not have that time, or are even moving past, wanting to understand that we need that time to be able to understand the partner that we do have. Now, here is the trick. When you get enough time, sufficient time to be able to stay or live with that person you presume to be the best person or the best choice, this allows you time to be able to learn how fake are they, when are they real, is she who she says she is he who he says he
No,
is.
she says, send me transport.
And
Okay? And she doesn't come. Is that the fakeness that you're...
definitely, fakeness starts from there. It starts from, of course, lying. It starts from, you saying this, yet you're that. It starts with, of course, lying of names, giving wrong numbers. That is, one of the habits that girls in Uganda have learned. And,
But Bruce, the lying, I think, is shared evenly. The men
Definitely.
lie, the guys lie, the chicks lie. But if we're talking about counterfeits, this tool here, how has it, in the space of relationships, how has it helped to decrease or increase the fakeness that you're talking about, this phone?
When you look at the phone,
and how is it helping your dating or not dating and things like that?
I would say the phone is really helping out in increasing and decreasing, just like you did put it. But of course, we need to draw a line at which one is better than the other. Is it increasing the counterfeits more, or is it decreasing? And for me, I would say communication is very key when it comes to relationships, and that is why most of us are taking advantage of the phones to communicate to our partners and all that, for those who have the partners. When you look at the phones and how they are being used, one is that I've seen people faking messages. I'll come to I'll ask for your phone, you're my friend, ask for your phone, try and send a message that could maybe try to lure the other person into my gaps. That is one. When we are speaking on phones here, one might have a good voice. You speak to someone, their voice is
they
sweet.
Use AI
that is
to
right.
sweeten the voice.
Yes. And meeting the person in person, it's quite totally a different story. And that really scares, I would say now, the youth and men in that particular, and also maybe women at some extent. But at this juncture, this generation of ours, counterfeits in relationships are being more seen in women. And of course, why in most cases people want to have the luxury that they can't have or they cannot afford. And of course, in most cases we have those phones, just like you're speaking. That is an expensive phone. I would look at it, even by looking at it now, I felt like having it. But you look at a young lady coming from, maybe I would say, deep down in the village, they've just experienced what life has to offer, and yes, that phone will make them
so you're saying that for you young people, aspiration, you aspire, is a big reason why you are taking on these fakes.
Very much so, because we want to be who we can't be at that moment in most cases. There's a common quote of being wannabes. So
Wannabes.
yes, wannabes. You want to be someone, and of course, being someone is a process.
And being someone that you're not is also faking in itself.
Yeah, so that is what people are doing.
So because we have the the acronym Dankani here, as you can see, the reasons why we have counterfeits. Which of those speaks to you as a bachelor boy? Okay, differentiation, affordability, convenience, concealed danger.
I would say affordability is one. I would also speak to aspiration. Negligence is key. Negligence is key because we are neglecting, those signs or those matters that do speak to counterfeits. Of course, ineffective cooperation would really not skip one of the points I would really put out, and also concealed danger.
But if we talk about affordability, if you knew that a certain product is cheap but dangerous, would you still buy it?
At the moment, I would not buy it. But then...
So why would then affordability be
affordability would be an issue, because I want to look at this as an issue that does not only speak to me as a person, because there could be another person who is in the same situation like me. So in most cases, we want to afford the things that in most cases are out of our reach. That is money-wise, because money is literally the key aspect of life these days. So affordability comes in where I cannot afford an iPhone, maybe 15, which is the latest, and maybe I pass by Mtasa Cafe and find an iPhone,
a clone,
a clone of an iPhone 15. In most cases, in fact, it is now a clone would be better, because I've seen how people do fake these phones. Just they will get an iPhone X and put those, in most cases they're called maso asatu. That is the common language that people are using as we speak.
Maso asatu meaning what?
3 eyes, those 3 cameras or 2 cameras and that. So they put them there. You just get something. I don't even know how people cannot look at this and know that this is not authentic, because just that drive of affordability, the drive of them wanting to be able to have that they cannot have, it continues to kill them and of course lure them into the gaps of counterfeits.
So what is your message to bachelors out there and spinsters
of
out
course,
there?
for bachelors
who do their own shopping and who have got to basically grope in the dark to cannot differentiate the genuine from the fake. How should they go out there and keep safe from counterfeits? What are some of the tips?
Some of the tips, one is be real to yourself, because you see, as we are trying to fight counterfeits, some of us are also counterfeits. So the issue is, one, be real to yourself. Be that you want to get. Because in most cases, if you cannot follow that route in life, in most cases, you will not blame anyone for getting a counterfeit. So one key aspect is be real to yourself. And of course, there is a very, very great need for us to be able to look at the products or the people that we are trying to, associate with, the people we are planning, to plan with in future. We need to look at them keenly. Well, I choose to believe we need to, use assistance of the people that do live with us. If you're my friend, maybe I should approach you and, ask you, what do you make of this? Yes, what they say is not what you should do. Try to use that information, digest it.
But are you able on your own to actually pick a genuine from a fake? Are you saying that the youth, the bachelors, the spinsters have this knowledge inherently, they know it, or they need some aid?
Definitely.
Shouldn't brands come out to help you to differentiate a genuine toothpaste from a fake toothpaste? Is this information readily available? Is it easy for you to differentiate?
Well, when you speak about information being readily available to the people, well, it is not. It is not readily available to the people, because in most cases, people still find a hard time differentiating a fake 10,000 note from a real one. Why? Because they did not, maybe their parents didn't teach them about money, or maybe while they were in school, they did not get to know about this. So information to the public is still limited. There is a wide limit when it comes to information about counterfeits. Even with the people, that do consume it, the bachelors, the spinsters, we do aid the spread of counterfeit material. Why? Because in most cases, just like we did mention earlier on, we do want that we can't afford. And
but even when the information is given, for example, on money matters and so on, we've had a lot of Ponzi schemes for the longest time. And there have been warnings and arrests have been made, and people have invested and lost money. We just have the capital chicken scandal. People have lost billions. But every time the scheme comes up, people invest again. People keep investing. So it's as if we don't listen.
You know, when you say that, I think Ugandans more so, we have a syndrome. Is it a disease? I don't know. But I would say it is a bad habit. You know, one will tell you, do not go there. There are policemen, they will arrest you. And, you know, you'll be like, no, I want to see for myself. You will go there, they will arrest you. So what I'm trying to allude to is, Ugandans, all Africans, we have a tendency of...
people generally.
Yeah, generally. We want to see something before we can believe what the truth of that thing is. So this is the biggest problem fueling. Also, this capture chicken scandal. Right now, I can tell you, tomorrow if someone did begin the same scheme, people would follow it. I can tell you that I got to learn about such schemes and be aware of them because I chose to, be aware. And some people fail to choose to be aware. They want to stay ignorant about them, even after you've told them, even after they've lost money.
They are negligent, in other words.
Very negligent.
They don't want to learn.
And that is why I did say it is key, and I did emphasize negligence as a key issue. Because I did experience, I had an experience last week while I did happen to use, one of Kampala's commonest means of transport, a boda. And, I tried to explain to this border guy how counterfeits are, deep in the market and deep into people, deeply embedded in schemes that people do look at as money-making schemes. And of course, a problem of Ugandans being us wanting to make quick money. So just a scandal like that one that did happen of Capri Chicken, there have been scandals to deal with. I would say, money-making schemes that I'll deposit 100,000 at the end of the day
and
or at the end of a month. I don't know. For the people that are watching us, do you think that, from where do you think this money is going to be coming from?
From heaven, maybe.
We
need to take a break. We're back with the second episode. This is the League of the Genuine with me, your host, Fred Muwema. We are hosting IMBC with Bruce Mugabi. 3 hats. We finished the part of Bachelor. Now let's go to media.
Yeah.
One of the biggest form of media counterfeiting is fake news. We have spoken about it almost every time that we're on this show. But it keeps rearing its ugly head. Every time there's a major media event or news, there'll be spin-offs which are fake. Can you share in the recent breakout between Hamas and Israel as a media practitioner? Can you share for the audience some of the fake spins that have come out which are actually not true?
Well, definitely when we speak about that conflict, that of course is about a week old as we speak now. One is, of course, we have this mentality, or we have this picture or image that Israel is, of course, one of the biggest powers that we do have in the world, and of course that
one
is
of the best armies.
Best armies, equipment, and that is true. It's not, that is true because you look at the allies Israel does have and all that. It is quite strong. So one of the fake or the counterfeit, news stories I've seen clips that have been making rounds on social media, that was TikTok to be specific.
This might look like a video of a real soldier firing a real rocket at an aircraft. It was posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, with the caption, "More power to you, Hamas." But it's not real. It's actually a clip from a video game named Arma 3. Despite that, it's been viewed more than 500,000 times on X. The viral clip is just one of many pieces of misinformation that spread rapidly on the platform in the hours after Hamas launched a surprise attack against Israel. After Elon Musk took over Twitter last year, he laid off thousands of employees, including many responsible for combating misinformation on the platform. Now, to help police false content, the company relies heavily on community notes, a crowdsourced, user-generated fact-check system like this one, added to the bottom of a post. Musk's changes to verification on the platform is also causing confusion. Before, a blue badge was proof a person or organization was who they said they were, but now anyone can buy a verified account with a blue checkmark, and those accounts are boosted by X's algorithms, and the people who run them even have the chance to make money from their posts. This video is shared by a blue badge account and has been viewed nearly 2 million times. The video purports to show Hamas militants capturing senior Israeli officials, but this is false. It is actually a video of authorities in Azerbaijan arresting separatist leaders.
Of these warships, which look to be like alien ships for those who watch those alien movies. So I would say these are ships that are being purported to be weapons that have been deployed by Israel in that regard. And when you look at the exact,
but is it a war that is being fought at sea? I don't know.
Yeah, part of it is being fought at sea because Mediterranean Sea is one of the largest seas, and it covers literally one of the biggest parts of Israel and that. So
so there is fake news that there are war ships and frigates of Israel, whereas they are not.
Yeah, I wish I could describe them, because I've seen, for the people who have watched Avengers, those movies of Avengers, there are those big alien ships, and all those are being alluded to be Israel ships and all that. Yet, of course, looking at the end of this whole conversation, well, they are not. You look at the figures of the people that are losing their lives and all that. Of course, people are reporting different figures, yet I would say, as we speak of today morning, or rather today afternoon, we are about over 1,000 people that have lost their lives in this whole I would say war. So you look at, of course, the messages that are being spread by different media houses in regards to the messages that are coming from the different leaders of these nations.
Like the leaders are telling lies, we've done this, we've finished them, whereas not.
Yeah, so you find that just because one side wants to scare or even drain the hopes of the other side winning, of course sharing messages that we've done this, we've finished them as we speak now. Maybe Hamas has nothing on Israel, but of course, looking at the reality of how issues are turning up, yes, both sides are losing people.
But my question is, because you also do news anchoring, so as a media institution, how do you navigate truth in these matters?
Yeah.
Because right now, if you're going to read the news, there must be a source. So how do you verify? Because you're not on the ground. You don't have boots on the ground for Hamas to tell you that I've shot a soldier, or Israel to tell you. You pick this from sources. There are some distributors of news, Reuters and all those guys. So how do you sieve
the right information?
Yes, how do you get the right information?
Yeah, when we speak about saving information, it is quite difficult. I would really admit it is a difficult, I would say, a difficult job to do when it comes to saving the right news, more so that is coming in from the international, I would say, scene. So basically, personally, I did save a report today morning in regards to that same, war coalition is happening in Israel and Hamas. And what did I do? One, of course, in most cases, we do have people that we speak to that are close, to Egypt, which is of course an African country, and we could have one or two people that we can speak to on phone to be able to verify what is happening. Then there are people that do get information from the news agencies. You did just mention Reuters, Al Jazeera, BBC News, CNN, and all those. So what you do is, in most cases, try to compare the information these news agencies are trying to put out to the public. One, you will see inconsistency in the figures being put out there. So what do? You dig deep, call someone. What is happening here and there? looking at the figures, how many people have died. Of course, we have different bodies like the United Nations that normally give out standardized figures and of course confirmed figures. Try to ascertain with the information that is being given out. Looking at the
But
people,
don't you think you are limited? Because if you're going to call Egypt for information, you might know that Egypt is an Arab
nation.
country, Arab nation. And so if there is an Arab-Israeli conflict, the source in Egypt might be inclined.
Biased, yeah, true.
So if you're going to pick information out of Brussels or Geneva, it might be pro the other side. So how do you balance this as media? How do you ensure that these influences in ideology and so on do not lead to faking, to giving us fake news? How is that interplay done?
Before I even go to that, you see, what you're saying is actually what is happening. There is a lot of bias in this information being spread out. So just like I did point out, one of the key issues we do as try to use is verifying information with different media stations, putting it out there. Then of course I would say we not only would call a person that is in Egypt, but also...
But it can also mislead you.
Yeah. So when both people, when you look at the information being given or drawn out, that is where you go back to the people that are giving you live feeds of what is happening in the field. Try to cross-check the information being given. If Reuters is saying this and Al Jazeera is saying this, what is the United Nations saying? Because these people are on ground. They're on ground and giving you the biggest or latest figures that are real in most cases. So looking at that, compare with what your sources have fed into you, told you these people have died so far, this and this has happened and all that. Because one of the greatest things that we have in media as we speak now is technology, and that is aiding out, I would say, a bunch when it comes to verification of this information being put out there to the public. So one thing that I did, in fact, today morning is, use technology to be able to help me, balance the figures that, I was given. Because as we speak now, before I did make my way into here for this interview, I did see Al Jazeera putting out figures. And
of casualties, ground covered.
Yes. And I'm so interested in this war because I want to learn about how this whole affects the world. We had the Russian war of recent affected us this. So as a journalist, I want to know how it affects.
But now from the counterfeit perspective, is there hope that we might soon see an end to fake news? From the way you're describing, very fluid. Is there hope, or we should just soak ourselves in more and more fake news?
I would say there is hope. In fact, very much hope. Because one, if we can, I would say, put our emphasis on uprooting the people that are, serving out that fake news, trying to sieve the people that are in journalism. In most cases, the people in the media are not trained journalists. One has a good face for TV and they're given the opportunity. Yeah, and a good voice. And this makes them reluctant, and they fail to go back and do a refresher course in journalism. Maybe a certificate to get, those nitty-gritties about how to be, a credible source. And of course, we do have ethics when it comes to news. And
regulation. How is the regulation?
Regulation is there. We have the laws, but then implementation is key. And it is a bit, low. And of course, this is a problem that we have in Uganda for almost literally all, the sectors. When you look at how implementation is done, and I hate the fact that just because we failed to implement, we are blaming, lack of funds, finance. However much it is key, I choose to believe implementation has to start with us. So there is hope in, of course, putting an end to spreading of counterfeit news, if at all, even with the people that are consuming this information, choose to follow those sources that are credible. And how do you know that a source is credible? It goes back to our earlier conversation, try to sieve, compare the information. If so-and-so is saying, or if a blog, and we have these blogs that have come up of recent in Uganda, most of them, people are just using these to make money. If you have quite a good number of followers and all that, then you get gigs to advertise. And this is why people are spreading this fake news to be able to attract the numbers, attract
And make money.
and
yet, Bruce, we are in an environment of liberalization.
Yeah.
In our days, we had Radio Uganda, Blue Channel, Red Channel, maybe 3 stations. We now have more than 200 radio stations in the country, with more than 70% of the population hooked.
Yeah, that's true.
We had 1 TV which worked up to 11 and closes. Now you can watch TV from January to
24/7.
January with, I don't know, 100 channels. But meaning that the access to both genuine and fake news is easier now.
Yeah, easier. Very easy.
So how are you as media using these platforms of TV and radio to fight back fake?
Definitely, one thing that I do love about media as we speak now, the message is being put out there. Of course, that is in partnership with other different, I would say, companies. You know, a company like this one, what we are doing here is, of course, putting out information to the public about these, fake news, counterfeits, and all that. So, I love the fact that as we speak now, when it comes to media, we have the Uganda Communications Commission, which is a body that does regulate all media channels in Uganda, be it radio, be it print media, be it television, and all that. So this is coming in, of course, and has pushed media owners to also form their own umbrella bodies to be able to know, if you are a credible news source or credible information source, then are you part of us? Yes, if you're part of us, then we have these and these standards. You have to follow them. And when you find a media station following them, then in most cases it is part of that, a body and all that. So, one, looking out at, the other blog is not part of this. This and this blog is not part of this, and they are putting out.
But they can't be regulated easily. You wake up today, you put up a website, or, and you publish, and nobody, there's no editorial control. You just put the information out there. So are these many radios and TVs and platforms and social media, is it for the good? Is it for the bad? Is it promoting counterfeits? Is it helping us to get quality, clean, truthful information?
Yeah, they are helping out to get quality and clean information. That is if you're to put it on a balance. But of course, the bad ones are also coming up, and these are many, just like you said. We need, of course, to see these different bodies that do help out in, putting up regulations and all that. UCC, to be specific, to come out and, try to put a clamp down on these different radio stations, because you will go deep down in, I would say, Isinjiro district, where I do happen to come from, and you will find that, there are these, I would say, community radios. They do not cross Isinjiro district, they are only in Isinjiro, and the kind of information they are giving out, in most cases, there are no people that do give a second eye in what they are putting out. They are putting out information that is, fake, wrong. You've seen people announcing people to be dead, yet they are not dead. And of course, this goes back to regulation. But one thing I also love about media of recent, most of the print media, social media, is I've seen Twitter, bringing up that, I would say maybe a habit of, trying to cross-check some information. You'd see the scandal that did happen with Donald Trump. Some tweets were brought down just because they were fake and, deemed to be offensive. Facebook is, doing the same. When you look at, sharing of information, yes, they are doing it not to a greater extent of how we want it to be done. But I would say at least a good job is being done. But of course, we do need more energy to be
in
put
there.
Yeah, to be put
I
in
know
there.
that you also do talk show hosting. I have not come across a talk show talking about counterfeits. specifically on a regular basis. Why is that so?
Of course, I would say maybe people are not looking at counterfeits as they should be looking at them, because counterfeits are one of the key or the main aspects that, if talked about or if brought in light, could really benefit.
But isn't it because you media people are after making the money?
Yes, that is what I was alluding to, because we want to make the money, but then the information about counterfeits in most cases is what is bringing in the money. I've seen different adverts. Of course, we had an issue of UNBS and also the Uganda medical stores, and closing different drug stores, drug shops that are producing these counterfeit products. In most cases, these common drinks that we have in Uganda, and media stations tend to advertise for them, looking at securing the bag. And
so are you
out.
Advertising counterfeits?
I would say personally, where I do
knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah, some media stations are doing that. Though where I come from, I would say we are doing quite a great job in regards to regulating that, because yes.
Where do you come from?
I hail from BTM TV. And we are quite aware about these counterfeit products. And
so if a counterfeiter came and said, here is 10 million shillings, run my ad,
of course,
how would you know that this is counterfeit even?
Yes, good enough. You see, when we speak media, we have different teams working there. We have the production, we have the marketing teams, and all those. So it goes through a series of sieving to see, is this the right product that needs to be seen by our viewers, the people that look at our content. Is this the right content we need to give to them? Because if the content you're putting out there tends to be harmful, then you're losing the viewers. So
at your station where you're working, you have actually pulled down some advertisements because it was found to be counterfeit.
We've not pulled down any because we've not received any due to our vigorous checking and all that, because it is quite strong. In fact, if someone came to me with a product, I would really be scared for myself, because that could cost me my job. So yes, but I want us to look at it in a bigger perspective, looking at how other media stations are perceiving this. As media, we need to, put our foot down on ground and look at how we can fight counterfeits. Just like you said, we need to create more awareness as the media. Yes, we are doing it.
Programming.
Yes.
You have programming to educate the masses about this dangerous.
Yes, so I've seen some with it. I've seen, in fact, a good job is being done as we speak of these days with counterfeits, more so monetary counterfeits and all that. And for products, it is still lacking, because these guys, bring in a lot of money for the stations. And of course, stations do feed on this advertising.
Let's take a break. Back with the third and last segment. This is the League of the Genuine Conversations. I am here in studio with Bruce Mugabi. Now you're going to speak as a budding, aspiring lawyer. But because you have a strong leaning to media, there will be crisscrossing here when we speak to you as a lawyer. There has been mixed reaction about the passing of the Computer Misuse Act, which punishes guys who are
using social media,
wrongly using social media to attack and so on. But me, I'm looking at it in terms of using social media to sell and buy counterfeits. Do you see the Computer Misuse Act helping us with this increased sales of counterfeits online using computer systems? Many people buy fake products from these different trading platforms. Is that something you think we should explore?
Yes, it is quite a good venture when it comes to, of course, protecting the ordinary Ugandan, who, of course, goes to these social media platforms to be able to purchase products. And, of course, social media now being one of the biggest avenues that, people are availing what they have to, sell to the Ugandans. And, well, just like you said, social media or that computer misuse acts, I would say needs to also be looked at in a different way, because in my own perspective, this clamps down more on affecting people with businesses that could be genuine, rather than weeding out those businesses that are providing counterfeit products. Though there are more counterfeit products being sold on social media, which is one of the reasons that we did need this act to be
So do you
brought
think
up.
in that act, rather than just targeting people speaking and slandering others and defaming them, do you think we introduce an element of products? If you send a data message on WhatsApp, for example, and you say, guys, I have chicken, broilers or whatever, meanwhile your chicken have been feeding on fake chicken feed. They have been taking fake antibiotics, so they produce fake meat, fake eggs, and they are basically fake. But you put in the WhatsApp group and sell. Do you think that it's time now we also use our electronic laws to say, don't post anything unless you're sure it is genuine? If you have eggs in your backyard and you want to sell to your group, have the decency to make sure it is a legit product. Don't just put it out there. So it's from that perspective, should we intrude into that space and require self-regulation of people to be more careful, not to just put things out there?
Very much so, because I would say that is what is needed as we speak now in Uganda, because if that aspect is embedded more in the act, because I might not closely remember the the sections and all that, but there is a little bit of that, but then it is not speaking more to, of course, weeding out counterfeits in that manner, because just like you said, there are people that are marketing their products online, yet what they are marketing is not what they have. If you've seen on social media, there's this common I would say trend of what I ordered and what I received. That is trending a lot. You order for, maybe I would say, you order for a Franco Benetti shoe, and the one you receive is made in, I would say, maybe Katwe or somewhere else.
But still with the name.
It's still with the name. That is what we are having, what you ordered versus what you did receive. So I think, yes, this law needs to, be beefed up, because you look at legislation in Uganda is quite at a high level. We have, good legislators passing good laws. But of course, how much or what are the legislators doing to be able to tighten up these laws? Not only should they look at beefing up the law, but then this law has been beefed up. Is it being
implementation? But talk about beefing up and tightening laws.
Yeah, because tightening up the laws.
We have the anti-counterfeit goods bill.
Yes,
You've
yes.
heard of it. A lot to tighten and squeeze, bring some more squeeze into the... What according to you should a good anti-counterfeit law have? What should we be looking at?
I think we should be looking at protecting the end user of the product. Yes, consumers in Uganda are contributing greatly to counterfeits being on the market, but then we need to protect them. Can we put in somewhere there an issue to deal with, more education in regards to counterfeits? Then, after looking at
more education, that's a good one.
Yes.
Who should give education?
Definitely
the shopkeeper, the manufacturer, the truck distributing, the police officer.
Education, I would say, in this regard has to, call in more people. One, it should be, yes, the shopkeeper, but then let it begin with the producer. Let us take use of, these different media avenues and speak about counterfeits.
Why don't we demand that before a brand comes to your TV or radio to advertise, or at the time it's advertising, it should also have a component of that advert being awareness.
Yeah, that is
so in other words, it's not enough to say this tea is good, it makes you refreshed and so on. Give us information about any aspect of faking that we might face with this tea. You think that's viable?
Yeah, very viable, because I choose to believe that would, avail more information to the person who's going to be using that product. Then they will get to know, yes, I do want to take coffee, but does this coffee contain this and this? Does it have that and that should be in coffee or shouldn't be in coffee? Yes, if it does have it, if it is good, I will use it because I have the information. Now, yes, I've seen products, of course, ingredients being put, inscribed on them, those, brandings that are normally put in there. But then, can we get to teach the people that are using these products about those ingredients? Some people don't know what sodium is. Some people don't know what calcium is. It is good. It is needed in one's human body. But then the people that are going to be, people that are consuming the products you're making out of these minerals and ingredients, do they know about the use of this? Or they are just taking it just because someone did tell them, use the other product or get the other one because it is affordable. Yeah, so we really need that information to be put out there to the public by, of course, the producers being key in pushing this. Then, of course, government needs to also come on board when we speak about awareness. It is good that we had money being set aside for mindset change. I will not go much into that because it does allude to politics. But if we are looking at changing the mindsets of Ugandans, then let us do that exactly. Let us mean business and change Uganda's mindset about, counterfeits. First of all, if you're going to consume a product, do research about it, know about it, then you can use the product. Then maybe it will be of great satisfaction because we do consume products that are, up to standard to be satisfied. So if you're not consuming them...
As a lawyer who is also a media practitioner, within the media house itself, have you come across copyright infringement? I have spoken to some young journalists who complain that you write a story, you do all the hard work, and then when it's published, somebody else
claims it,
has stolen it, and it's done by somebody else. That's counterfeiting, that's copyright infringement. How have you helped in these kind of situations, or have you seen it, and what do you say should be done?
Yeah, I've seen it in most cases happening in media, and it is fortunate that for me, I did intellectual property while, of course, doing my law degree, and looking at the different aspects of intellectual property, I, of course, get to know the different types of IP in that regard, and of course, we need to learn the different technicalities that are involved in there. If, of course, ideas, in most cases, if not put into practice, or if not, put into material form.
No, but a kid has gone out there, a young journalist has written a story and so on, and the boss decides that this story is written by A and not B.
Yeah.
And because the kid has got to be paid every time the story is published, but they lose out.
Yeah, that
so
is
that
key.
kind of infringement is counterfeiting from the top now. It's a problem. But let's talk about another form of infringement, still copyright, which is rampant in the music. The stealing of music. Are you guys paying royalties to our artists, to our musicians, every time you play their music?
Yeah, that is a big problem. I'm a great fan of music. I'm very, very great fan of music. But I would say the problem is not with the media. Why? It is with the artists to begin with.
How can it be their problem? For them, they produce a song and you play it.
Now, this is how it is a problem. One, they want this music to go viral, for people to call them to perform. Well, they are not focusing on earning from their copyright.
The airplays.
Yeah, their airplays. They are running to earn from the shows that they're being called to perform at. That is where mindset change comes in now again. Can we?
They don't know that every time the song is played on the airwaves,
they do have to get something.
But they have collecting society.
Now, I did see different issues to deal with these collecting societies. In most cases, there was a famous story of Spice Diana, who is one of Uganda's good musicians, where she was paid, is it about 10,000 for, over
10,000 what?
Uganda shillings
For what?
for playing her music. One of the different companies that does collect these royalties. I did see another artist, I would say is commonly known, Bruno K, also comment about that, having issues with his management regards to this. And I would say still, if these artists knew how, or there was it is there a way on how they
Are you
can
saying
be
they
able
are
to,
not organized,
Yes,
or they
thank
don't
you.
have good
Thank you.
management, or they do not know their rights, for example?
Yeah. Now you just helped me out, because I was trying to speak word by word, but now they are not educated about these royalties. They are not educated about how these companies do collect them. Well, there is an app that helps musicians to be
To
aware.
detect.
Yeah, if their song has been played, then they will tell you your song is being played on so and so station. But then these artists are not taking use of that app. Many of them do know the app exists, but just because they have the mentality of an artist can only earn after having shows. So I'll not get money from these TV stations because I want them to push my music. In fact, some are even paying us to push their music. That is real. Artists paying us to play their songs. So if he's paying me, do I need to pay him again? Definitely, artists are failing to draw the line of where they need to stop, and also being acquainted with this knowledge when it comes to intellectual property. And I think it is key that we need to focus on this, because it has breeded a room for counterfeits in music. People are duplicating the other's songs. People are picking messages, words from the other song, lyrics from this song, and mixing it in my song. But if we were aware that, or if these artists were aware that they can actually copyright their music, whatever they are putting down on paper can be copyrighted, because it can be, then I choose to believe we would be having quite a better.
But again,
situation.
social media here, when it comes to the piracy and stealing of music, you have some sites
Yeah,
where
doing
you
that.
can just go and download and play. So it's problems everywhere. So as we wind up, as a young lawyer, a budding lawyer coming up, what can you say is the counterfeit experience of a young lawyer in Uganda today?
Well, when you speak to the counterfeiting experience of a young lawyer, one is we young lawyers tend to think or know that to be able to be called a lawyer, this is quite funny for me. You need to at least own a Mercedes Benz. This is what is out there for us, the young lawyers. I was told while joining law school, when you finish law school and of course you get maybe a good law firm, or maybe you get a good gig, first buy a Benz. People will know you are a lawyer. But my dear, not each and every lawyer drives a Benz.
But there's nothing wrong with the Benz. It's a quality product.
It is quality. It is quality. But
so
then,
is the problem having the Benz, or the problem is what you have inside you?
Yeah. Now the problem
in
is,
terms of content,
you should
not
have
the Benz.
content, not the Benz, because one will look at you. You drive. They've called you. Hey, can you? I have this and this issue, and of course, on calling you, you will show up with your Benz, and they will know yes.
The Benz won't do the work.
Yeah. The Benz won't do the work, but then one will say, yes, this guy driving a Benz seems to have content.
So you'd be faking it.
Yes, that is one of the key aspects.
So you think this is the reason why the standards in the legal profession are going down?
Very much so. Very much so.
It's-
Yeah, we are failing to look at what one has to offer. Do they know the law? Do they know the law? Do they know where to find the law, rather than appearances? I'll appear smartly dressed, but then the content I have to give out
If it's fake,
it is
then the
fake.
whole thing is fake.
Is fake.
Okay, your message to the audience.
For the people that
counterfeits.
are watching us or have happened to watch us today in regards to counterfeits, I will not leave this behind. I did point at it earlier on in the discussion. Can you be real if you want something that is real? Let us not leave the reality that we want behind. that is going to be one of the yardsticks that we're going to be measuring ourselves on, and what products we do receive as counterfeits. And of course, you need to know that counterfeits on the market, be it goods, be it services, have infiltrated Uganda's market at quite a huge rate. So be aware of this. Be able to distinguish what is real and what is fake. And I can tell you that you'll not regret why you did watch this episode here.
Thank you so much. That has been IBCwe Bruce Mugabi, who has been speaking here as a bachelor, as a media practitioner, and as a young budding lawyer. I believe you have acquitted yourself on all the three fronts, because he has been speaking here about counterfeits from those three perspectives. As always, we would like to thank our audience who make the time to listen to us. This is the only show where we discuss the important but often ignored subject of counterfeits. We appreciate you subscribing. We rely on that support. If you like what we're doing, you can share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and remember to put the notification to be reminded of our next interesting program. So until then, don't be fake, buy and sell genuine.